Informative speech. Here's my group of listeners, my audience of 10. Alright. Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Sweet. I am here to give you a speech on the smell of rain and to inform you on how the smell of rain comes to be. There are a lot of things involved in the process of creating it. Some of these things include molecules, the atmosphere, rain, water, chemical reactions, everything like that, down to plants. After I teach you this and explain the whole process of where rain comes from, I hope you understand at the end and learn something from it. Nobody can resist such a refreshing and unique scent like the smell of rain, especially in certain areas like Las Vegas, because we don't get rain that often. It hardly ever shows up, and when we do, we're very lucky that we get it. That is, unless you have some of the popular rain scent candles or detergents or products that have the smell of rain in it, then you can get it anytime. But just like living here in the desert, we rarely get it, so we're very fortunate of when we get rain, and we don't take it for granted. When it is that time of year, the rain comes, and you instantly know before it even rains. You can tell that it's going to rain just by the smell that's in the air. So you first smell that, and then you look up, and you can tell that the rain clouds are getting darker. It's going to rain. It's eventually coming, and that's when you can first pick up the scent. And that smell is actually not the smell of rain. That is the clouds. There is static, and it's breaking up the molecules in the clouds, turning some of the molecules into chlorine, so you're actually smelling chlorine before it rains. You're not smelling the smell of rain. So the chlorine gives off that distinct smell, and that's exactly what that is. But then the clouds get darker, and the rain actually starts to fall. First it starts drop by drop, and then it gets heavier, more rain comes, and when it starts to fall, it hits the ground, and that's when you start smelling that refreshing smell. But how does it actually get that smell is what I'm trying to tell you. The smell of rain is not what you think it is. People have different theories about where it comes from. Some think it comes from the rain and the clouds, they get their scent up there, and some think it gets its smell on the way down, or from whatever reasons they think. But in fact, that's what a lot of scientists even thought up until recently, and they decided to start doing tests to figure out where the smell of rain came from. So they reproduced the actions on creating rain. Like they made a whole environment just to test it. Video cameras, used all the equipment, and they found the smell that we know as rain. So eventually, after testing all those theories, they found the answer, and the answer is known as petrichor. That is the name of the smell of rain. So when you say the smell of rain, it's actually petrichor. Basically, petra means blood, and cor means earth in Latin terms. So in English, it's really the blood of the earth is what the smell of rain is. So plants all over the world, they slowly, day by day, excrete a little bit of oil at a time, and it eventually builds up so much on the plants, and it drips all the way down to the ground, or it flies through the air, lands on the ground, and the ground absorbs all this oil that these plants have been giving off this whole time. Depending on where you live, the oil can build up for days to months to years. It all depends on where you live. Like here in Vegas, we don't get rain a lot, so it builds up a lot. So we get a really strong scent because of all the oils that are in the ground. The clouds are getting darker than usual. They're darker. The sun is already starting to creep behind the clouds, and they build up precipitation, and that eventually makes it so it's going to start raining. There's enough in the clouds to start pouring down. But when it falls, it still does not have the smell. As it falls to the ground, it hits the ground, and it's absorbed, which brings up the oils. And then the more rain, the more oil brought up, the more rain it mixes with, so now you have that oil and rain mixture. And when the following raindrops fall, they hit the ground where the rainwater and the oil is, and they splash up. And there's tiny little like droplets of water with the oil that it's like small particles that get mixed into the air and go up, and eventually they make their way to your nose and you smell it. And that's what it is the oils from the ground, from the water, eventually coming up, getting mixed into the air and coming to your nose so that you can smell them. So my conclusion, I just want to say that it's such a crazy process on how that actually happens. It's just science, basically. Nobody would ever have thought that, but it's not even the rain that's smelling, it's actually the oils from the plants going into the ground being mixed up by the rain, and that's what you eventually smell is petrichor. So it's the blood of the earth. Thank you guys very much. And here's my audience of 10 people still. Thank you guys very much.